Novels, Disney animations, and Hollywood films promote an idealized view of love, which promotes the belief of a one true love whom you fall madly in love with at first sight, marry, and then ride off into a sunset with to live happily ever after. After reading books and viewing films that suggest we should aspire to falling in love and being in a relationship that consists of pure romance, it can be quite shocking to learn that in the United States, 40 to 50% of all first marriages end in divorce or permanent separation. Once we lift our heads from out of the books and draw our eyes away from the television screen, we are left with a reality that drastically contradicts the fairy tale version of love that we grew up on. So, with the divorce rate at a historical high, is the notion of a one true love a myth? When an individual falls in love with another person, oftentimes it begins as something called passionate love. Passionate love can be characterized as an almost obsessive preoccupation with the other person and an overly idealized view of your partner. The presence of your partner is accompanied by feelings of excitement and ecstasy. This is the type of love that we have all read about and have most likely envied.
The passionate love that I have with my girlfriend was definitely a lot at first. Um, it's still quite present, but I feel like it doesn't manifest itself in the same way that it did before. In the way that I just wanted to be around them, had to be around them, needed their presence. I don't feel that anymore. I feel like it's a little different now.
However, these feelings that are characteristic of passionate love tend to be fleeting by nature and decrease over time. Therefore, it is important to acknowledge that the butterflies do not usually last forever. But this is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, while engulfed in passionate love, individuals tend to ignore their partner's faults and overlook potential relationship problems. So it's a good thing that our eyes are eventually cleared from the foggy lenses of passion.
No, I don't think that passionate love is sustainable because you need to be passionately in love with yourself before you could ever have it something sustainable. So if you're only passionate about someone else so much that you can't even recognize their own faults, then it definitely won't last.
But when passionate love diminishes, that does not necessarily mean the end of a relationship. When the disillusionment sets in, another type of love can compensate for its loss, one much more stable. This stable love is known as companionate love, and although it is not nearly as intense as passionate love and bears little to no resemblance of the relationships illustrated in fairy tales, it is much deeper and genuine. Companionate love can be characterized by a strong emotional attachment and commitment to another person. It is based on the full knowledge and appreciation of your partner and accompanied by a desire to make the relationship work. Because companionate love develops over time, it is much more enduring compared to passionate love.
Companionship. That's what compensates for that companionship. Because after you've been in a relationship and it dies down, and like the thrill is gone in a sense. There's a song that says the thrill is gone. So once the thrill is gone, it just becomes like we're friends or we're not friends, and it becomes companionship, like supportive of each other. Like I'm comfortable with this person. I know this person. They got my back, like that.
So, if the transition from passionate to companionate love is natural, why do some people perceive it as a letdown? It is because, although we may not realize it, we are biologically hardwired to crave variety. Variety and novelty affect the brain in much the same way that drugs do. That is, they trigger activity that involves the neurotransmitter dopamine. It is important not to mistake this shift from passionate to companionate love for incompatibility or unhappiness just because the intensity and passion of your relationship is not the same as when it first began. Instead, seek out the spontaneity and excitement that you admire about passionate love. Eschew predictability in favor of discovery, novelty, and opportunities for unpredictable pleasure.
A desire to problem solve. Sounds very scientific or very academic, But in a sense, it's knowing that problems happen and wanting to find the best way to work it out for both of you in a way that benefits both of you and makes things better. And also, I think time, you got to give time for each other. Everyone wants time with someone else, their partner, because you can't have a relationship if you're not around each other. It just makes no sense. Commitment, trust, also loyalty in the sense that one doesn't go off cheating. That'd be bad.
Robert Sternberg, an American psychologist, created the triangular theory, which suggests that love consists of passion, intimacy, and commitment, and further conveys the importance of compensating for the diminishment of passion. Sternberg argues that when passionate love fades, passion, intimacy, and commitment comes in to fill in the blank. These three components can exist in varying degrees. However, if this compensation never occurs, it is very likely that the relationship will end. With 40 to 50% of marriages ending in divorce in the United States, the prospect of remaining in a happy and long-term marriage may seem more elusive than ever. However, just because our relationships cannot resemble that of Disney animations forever, or the odds seem stacked against us, this does not mean that we cannot find someone to love romantically, intensely, and happily till death do us part. Passion alone cannot sustain a relationship throughout a lifetime. It requires much more effort, flexibility, and attention to survive and thrive. As Woody Allen asserted in his film Annie Hall, a relationship is like a shark. It has to constantly move forward or it dies.